Testing. 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? Nobody in the chat room yet. I'm starting late. No one cares. I usually start at noon o'clock, you guys know. Every Sunday, live. Live, all the way live. I'm just wondering if my sound is coming through. I'll wait until someone jumps into the chat to let me know if you can hear me. So, yes, I'm starting a little late. It's a rainy Sunday afternoon. I'm using a different mic. Can you tell? I usually use my gaming my gaming headphones. They're not mine. I'm just kidding. I'm not a gamer. I don't play games. I do play to win though. So what's going on Sunday afternoon? Rainy. It's actually pretty warm. It's been kind of warm this week up here in the Northeast. And all right, you want to know why I was late? If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know why I was late. I don't know. I happen to, I don't know why I did this. I'm like sitting here making some notes for the show, and I happen to pop on Facebook, just messing around, wasting time. And I see this, I don't know, don't ask me why I follow him on Facebook, but I see this, one of those Facebook, well, I don't know what they call them, stories, right? From Anthony Weiner. And dude, the man looks like shit. He should never use black and white filter. I'm telling you, he had fucking cracked teeth and circles under his eyes. And holy crap, he looked like hell. So, of course, I had to chime in. And I'm like, dude, why you look like death? I mean, meth. Holy crap. So funny. Trolling. Keep those doggies trolling. Anyway, where's everybody? Nobody can tell me if they can hear me. Hi, Jesus. Do I have to DM somebody? Do I have to? It's fine. It's all good. I'm just farting around until I can do a mic check. Anyway, it's a great day. The moon is in Leo today. And I've been messing around and looking at the month upcoming, and God, it looks crazy. It just looks crazy. I mean, it just looks crazy. Like, how much crazier can it get? I've been following the news. If you've been following the news, then you know it is crazy. So, yes, in commitment, in honoring my pledge to you guys, I am, I'm streamlining my show. I'm not going to do a 2.5 hour show today. We're just going to talk about the basic. I figured I'm going to talk about the basic aspects first, day by day. And then maybe I'll go into the stars and asteroids after that. See, that's what trips me up. It trips me up because I can't just like skate on the surface. It's just not possible. Thank you. Dave can hear me. Thank you, Dave, for being in the chat room. You see, like, I've been starting the show at noon and no one shows up until 1. Probably because y'all know how it go. and it don't really matter when you filter in because I'm going to be going long time, but I don't know about that today. I'm feeling other things. I'm feeling post Thanksgiving turkey bone broth and some amazing pappardelle noodles. How's that sound? Sounds delicious, doesn't it? All right, so you people, let's get into it, you people. Me and Dave. Thank you, Dave, for attending my party. Dave, everybody. Dave in the chat from Dave Cruz from Beyond the Strange. And I'll be on Dave's show very soon. So please follow him on Spreaker. He has a channel here on YouTube, Beyond the Strange. And we're going to be talking, I think, this week. And we'll go over the astrology for December. Yes, pretty much everything that we've been seeing in November has just been a prelude to what's going to happen in December. It's been really nuts. So it's almost like we're getting all this information and hearing about changes on the horizon, right? But then December is, from mid-December on, it is putting action to it. So, whatever you've been saying that you're going to do, come mid-December, it's time to really act on it. And why do I say that? Well, right now Mercury is out of bounds. It's announcing and speaking out how it feels and what its beliefs are, and we are saying things we never thought we would say and hearing things we never thought we would hear. So Mercury out of bounds, it just doesn't have a filter, and I fucking love it. You know how I feel about filters. Filters are for your water and for your air purifier, and not for your mouth. Everyone should be able to say what the fuck they want, as long as it's not like, hurting somebody. Speaking the truth is, geez, I mean, when did that become, well, we know when it became a crime. And that's something I think we need to get into a little bit later in the show. And actually, when I start talking about December, yes, it is coming. The sum of all fears. All right, so today is December 3rd, 2023. It is a Sunday. It's a 4-day in numerology, and the moon is in Leo. So, it's time to show off. Get out there and strut your stuff. Be creative. Be like a king or a queen for the day. Treat yourself like royalty. The royalty that you are. And let's see. The moon is making a sextile to Venus. So that's good for, finance and relationships. So putting ourselves first and having self-esteem is going to really be the best for our relationships, because the North and South Node in Libra and Aries, and Venus being the ruler of Libra and the South Node, and Venus being in Libra, moon sextile to Venus. I mean, it really says the balance between the self and the other starts with the self. So we're not, giving too much away or letting people walk all over us, and looking at, and I would say this past week or so looking at our relationships from the past and sort of balancing our karma in a way. Karma being the cause and effect, and how it has what we've learned from relationships, basically, because it's not all self and it's not all other. There has to be a balance. And when we allow things to go out of balance, whether it's all about us and not in consideration of the other, um, then we get into trouble. And I know of a few people who've had some issues relating this past week. A friend of mine told me yesterday that it was a lot of frustration, a lot of anger and control issues. Well, the anger was coming from her Mars, but I could relate to the same because I encountered a relationship issue. It's somebody I don't even know. It's something on Facebook that I, was trying to buy, and I've been trying to like pin this woman down to like, does she even have the thing? And just stringing me along all week. Kind of a Libra thing, like can't make a decision. And so meanwhile, I can't make a decision. No, I mean, I could, but like I was sort of holding off because I'm like, fuck it. I'll go to the store. I'll buy it. I don't care. This is Venus on the South Node this whole last week. It's been relationship issues and showing us past patterns. Okay. And for me, I'm talking about me because this particular configuration was on my own natal South Node. So I clearly saw the pattern from the past, the way I might have handled things, and then the way I did handle it. And anyway, it basically ended up with me like telling the woman, like, do you want to sell this or not? You either have it or you don't. And because she starts quizzing me. All right, it's time for a story. This is how it went. Monday. Hi, is this still available? Meanwhile, she's got two of them listed, two separate things of the thing that I'm looking for listed. One for 10, one for 20. I don't know how big it is. She didn't give the dimensions, blah, blah, blah. I wait a day, 2 days. Finally, she says, I don't know. Let me check and I'll get back to you. I wait another day and another day. And so finally I go to the store and I'm like ready to buy one. I'm like, like no one else has listed one. It's just ridiculous. So I'm in the store and I message her and I say, hey, not to bug you, but do you know if you have it or not? And then she gets back to me with, what is it for? Okay, so it's an animal cage. What type of animal? How big is it? Ba 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 ba. And then she sends me a fucking YouTube video on small animal care. Like, I haven't had guinea pigs since I was fucking 5 years old. I've had rabbits. I've had rats. I've had pretty much everything. These kamikaze hamsters that only lasted for a day. I'm like, bitch, I just want to know, do you have it? What do you have available? What is your price? She's like going back and forth. What's your price range? I inquired about two. I'm ranting now. Okay, so this went on all fucking week, right? And then she tells me, well, I rescue small animals and, I just don't think this is appropriate for you. Like, you need to do a little bit more research. And I fucking blew my top because I'm like, ma'am, you don't know who you're talking to here. You don't know what the cage is for. And I was like, listen, I just gave you a 1-star rating on Facebook Marketplace. And I want you to know why. First, because I didn't see a 0-star option. And second, you string me along for like what, 4 or 5 days, and then you're like that I didn't realize I had to go through an interview and a background check in order to buy a goddamn cage on Facebook. You either have it or you don't. You have two of them listed. And then you're telling me, I don't know, $10 to $20. That's a difficult price range. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, this is why people commit acts of violencia. Drive me fucking crazy, right? So I told her straight up, I'm like, listen, I said, oh, you rescue animals? Say no more. That tells me everything I need to know about your people skills because I've dealt with this person before. She's an archetype, okay? They know everything about animals and they're so scared, that you are mistreating animals that they are going to make sure that she's not even going to sell a cage to somebody who might be mistreating an animal or oh my God. These are the types of people that get along better with animals than people because in their words, people, I can't deal with people. No, it's not that you can't deal with people. It's the people, you can't deal with people because you're psychotic. That's all. So this was Venus on the south node, my south node, squaring Pluto, control issues, obsession, power games. I'm not going to let you have what you want unless I think that you should have it, right? And then Venus and the South Node in conjunct to Neptune, projecting their fucking issues onto other people. And yeah, so in the time that I had a space of a half an hour in Petco looking at cages, and surely I can buy whatever I want full price. I just thought, it's not really worth wasting, I could spend more than half of what they're charging retail. People give shit away. I'm all about that. So in the space of a half an hour, this biatch decides to fuck with me. I'm messaging another guy who has a bigger cage, a more beautiful cage, a perfect cage for the same amount as her teeniest, tiniest cage, right? No questions asked. Sure, here I am. Come and get it. With a smile. With a smile. Whoa, night and day. But, I had to tell her. I had to tell her. Because Mercury's in Capricorn now. I had to give the Capricorn smackdown and tell the bitch what's up. Listen, you ain't gonna fuck with me. And now, okay, so while I'm going through it, I'm like, well, I really should let it go. And then I'm like, no, I checked myself. I didn't feel the anger. I wasn't going to attack her. I wasn't being rude. I was just being truthful, except for that one. I don't know, whatever. It wasn't horrible. I wasn't violating any terms of service, abusive. I wasn't being abusive, but I was like, listen, you told me everything I need to know about your people skills. Of course, she'll never get that one. That was just for me. Satisfaction. All right, I've wasted enough time. I had to get that out. It just felt so good. But yeah, I mean, I really did check myself to say, all right, because I'm very conscientious about my energy and what I put out. Did I obsess over it a little bit? Yeah, probably. But I also looked at it and I said, all right, I have been in this situation before. I have acted differently. So, I definitely high five myself and say, girl, you did awesome considering how I might have gone nuclear in the past, but it's funny. It was just an opportunity, and maybe you can relate to it, an opportunity to face an issue, a relational issue where it's the me versus the we, you know. Um, she obviously wasn't looking at herself and how she was like being obsessive and controlling and overstepping her boundaries. Like, it's Facebook. You just sell the shit. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, yeah. And it was one of those, I wish you well. I wish you well. Because you can't admit that you're wrong. And you want to sound like the bigger person and making me that's I'm going to try to make you look bad because I'm just going to be super duper nice. Fucking it does not work with me. It don't work with me because there comes a time for the smackdown. And she got it. Anyway, you know, if that was my week, if that was my drama for the week, I think I'm doing pretty good. So that was, yeah, very funny. Anyway, you know, but we're dealing with people's beliefs and ideologies. And don't underestimate that. It's interesting because you can see by, you know, people's actions and what they say and how they handle things. You understand what their beliefs are and what they stand for. What do I stand for? I stand for don't string people along, you know, like don't put something out there and then waste somebody's time. That's it. Don't waste my time. So I guess that was the Mercury in Capricorn sextile to Saturn this week. And that's, you know, letting somebody know or thinking about time. You know, it's time to get to work. It's time to speak truth to power. And, you know, boundaries. Like there has to be some kind of delineation between the uh the responsibility and accountability, and I say drawing lines because Saturn in Pisces, it's just so hard to do. And time, I'm sure, you know what, I don't wish the woman any ill will. There was not, I checked it. There wasn't really negativity specifically towards her. I tend to depersonalize things in that way because, you know, it's just some drip on Facebook. But anyway, standing up for yourself. Saturn is, you know, maturity and accountability and doing the right thing. And so there's a lot of discussion about those things. But for today, I mean, the Leo moon is pretty nice. It's sextile to Venus, pretty harmonious. You know, what do we got here? What else do we have? There's not a whole lot going on today, but there will be this week. So let me get into that. I think the Venus South Node in Libra squaring to Pluto and the inconjunct to Neptune has been kind of messing people up, I think. Just the obsessiveness and the power control dynamics and just maybe not clearly delineating what's our stuff and what we're projecting onto other people. So, I mean, when we talk about projecting onto other people, it's not always bad. I mean, I looked at my situation with Facebook fart and I was like, all right, what is my issue that it is being projected out onto her? Like she comes in and she plays a part, acts as a mirror so that I can see what is my issue. I don't fucking like being controlled. And I know exactly what she did, and I know exactly what the pattern in my past ships and the way um the lesson that I've had to learn, the karma of um interacting, let's say, with that type of person, and how just me just it's not really important. But for me, I don't like being controlled. I don't like being told what to do. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a Capricorn. You don't tell a Capricorn they don't know what they're doing. They came in knowing what they're doing. Okay. Ah, yeah. So it's all that kind of stuff, but that's easing off, and whatever relationship or fears, financial stuff, there's a lot of that going on, even though seems like the markets look good. Bitcoin is like busting a nut, my God. But still there is sort of this underlying sense of like, I don't know, next shoe to drop. That's what it feels like. And so, Mercury sextiling to Saturn is mature and practical and it's conservative. So, while there is Sun and Mars in Sagittarius and having this exuberance and maybe a little too much, um, there there are underlying things going on. And there is actually, because let's say Venus in conjunct to Neptune, and this is something that we should think about today. The moon is sextile to Venus. The moon is our intuition. It's in Leo. Leo is about generating, right? In the sense that in the chart it's the fifth house, and that is procreation, yes, recreation, yes, but it's also generation of currency, energy, chi, yeah, anything that's produced from our creative center, our solar plexus. And with Venus, that's how our relationships come into play. And then it's making sort of this triangle. It's not a trine, it is a yod, a finger of God. So the point of the finger of God is Neptune. And Neptune in Pisces, it's illusionary. It's our delusions and our beliefs that are not, bound to anything really. I mean, it is unlimited creative power as far as the imagination goes, but it can also be projecting our worst fears onto our reality. It's also what we don't see coming. And I think last week maybe we were seeing a little glimpse of that when Mercury squared to Neptune. We were seeing a little bit of the delusion, getting a little bit of a peek beyond the veil into what's coming in December, because Mercury retrograde will square Neptune again towards the end of December, and Mars will meet with Mercury, and they'll both be square to Neptune. That looks really, really crunchy. you guys. So, excuse me. That's why it's important to look at Mercury's shadow. Mercury's been in its shadow. Let's see. Mercury will go retrograde the 14th. So Mercury went into its shadow November 24th. Everything that happens between now and then, we have to look at those things because they are going to come back up. Things tend to get redone and reversed. So if you're all freaking out about something that, that passed and you're like, oh no, there it is. We're losing the battle. Nah. Wait till Mercury comes back around. So since the 24th, Mercury went into its shadow and we saw some things going on with the banks, stuff happening with crypto. So that's a marker because when Mercury goes direct, January 1st, it's a whole new world because also Jupiter is going direct. So everything, all of this boils down to the laws governing, the laws, regulations, procedures, systems that govern our financial system here in the US as well as across the globe. It all goes down to Jupiter in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus. So that's the markers that we're watching. Okay. I've been watching this. So the 24th, then we have, then Venus hit the solar eclipse degree of 21 Libra in conjuncting to Uranus in Taurus. And there were lawsuits happening. Oh my God. Lawsuits and legal stuff. So this is the way the markers that I use to gauge where we're going, and where, the wins and the losses are in the battle. Those are the things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at Uranus and Jupiter and the aspects to those and some other, other aspects, other things. So that's what we need to look at for today. The moon in Leo, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I mean, there are things going on, but there are things that are happening that are shifting our belief system. Mars is in conjunct to Jupiter. Jupiter is our beliefs, and Mars is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So it's definitely people being ready to fight for what they believe in. So that's what I did this week. I fought for what I believe in. Anyway, minor drop in the bucket. So let's look at Monday. Monday, December 4th. It's a 5-day in numerology. 5 days always look like change and a little bit of kerfuffle, maybe some low-key chaos. I don't know. The moon will be in Virgo. So early in the day, the moon opposes Saturn. So we come up against some kind of obstacle, some kind of need to take responsibility, perhaps. And it seems like there is an incoming communication or an idea. The moon will make a trine from Virgo to Mercury in Capricorn. So this is a very good day to deal with practical issues, business matters, taking care of anything that you want to do, like put into motion and start. We're getting down to the wire because Mercury will go retrograde. It's going to go really slow this week, which means because Mercury is slowing down to go retrograde. Communications, anything having to do with paperwork, anything to do with even travel, it will start to slow down. So expect that you might get a nudge to say, all right, it's time to do this now. Now, the moon will also make a trine to Jupiter, which is very fortunate, and it would be fortunate dealing with, let's say, public servants or people who work, let's say, in what Virgo type fields I would consider to be people who are, I would say, like customer assistants and stuff like that. You should be able to get a human with a brain on the phone if you have to deal with anything. So I think it's good for practical, basic day-to-day taking care of details and making sure that you follow policies and regulations, because that's Virgo. That's very important. I think that there will be probably discussions about policies and regulations. Health issues, it's coming up, guys. It is coming up. If you're looking in the news and you're watching to see what's going on, there is a new new ammonium going on. So Saturn restrictions possible, and things being talked about with government, with Mercury in Capricorn and in shadow of its retrograde. I think we're really going to start to hear a little bit more about that kind of thing, because there was an issue or let's say a suggestion from one leader, ours, to a leader of another country, China. And it was, maybe you should not let people no leave, So there's the start of the rumblings. So we could mark this on our calendar here of the beginning of perhaps the return to what we went through 2020, 2021, 2022. But remember, it is we are looking at regulations, not laws. So you cannot enforce regulations as law. And there are court cases just arguing this whole thing, that very thing. It is regulations versus laws. It is suggestion versus mandate, right? And I think those will be challenged, that it will come up and it will be challenged, because we've got Sagittarius in the house, and Jupiter has been activated first by the eclipse, but now we're having the moon in Virgo, health, right? Saturn, opposite Saturn, restriction, right? And the moon trine to Jupiter, law. Okay. And Mars and the sun. This is why it's so hard to keep it short, because I'm looking at the sun and I'm looking at Mars and I'm seeing the stars behind it. And they deal with pestilence, poison, illness, weapons. Why? Because the stars in part of Sagittarius are actually the constellation Scorpio, but not just Scorpio, but the stinger of the scorpion. And what is it? It's sharp, it pricks, and it's a weapon. And Mars, same thing. So in ancient astrology, Scorpio was known as the sign that presided over arms and weapons. And what are we using? Well, allegedly. They, not we. But I've seen a lot of indicators in the chart of large scale events coming that, that involve sickness, illness, poison. All right. So I can't help but think of those things when I look at where the sun and Mars are. So the sun and Mars have been passing over stars that are located in Ophiuchus, which also has to do with toxins and poison. But it's a transmutation type energy. But, obviously all of the signs, all of these stars, and let's say the story of the constellation, it does have its light and its dark. And so Ophiuchus, while it is about healing, because Ophiuchus is Asclepius, there is an element of danger, of very intense and very negative type events. So I'm a little concerned about that. What else do we have going on? All right, so the 4th, the moon is in Virgo. Those are the aspects. Venus is still square Pluto, so I expect that there will still be a little bit of that sort of feistiness and obsessive, trying to control. A lot of that comes from the fear, right? Fear of finances, a fear of loss of a relationship, of a person. Venus Pluto aspects in health astrology, I think it's either Venus opposite Pluto or Venus square Pluto, which is known as the Widowmaker. A Widowmaker, I think there's a bomb or something like that. It's named Widowmaker, but a Widowmaker is a massive heart attack that it just, wipes somebody out. So it's interesting. It's either the opposition of Venus to Pluto or the square, but I've sort of seen a similar energy with both, and maybe the square has more to do with sort of the the violent, controlling aspect in relationships, where someone is really trying to dominate, and to the point where we see people like eliminating their spouse, their significant other, with that Pluto obsessive, controlling, dark energy. So I don't like it. I don't really like it. It's not a pleasant aspect at all. I've known some people with Venus square Pluto, and they do really like to control. And like that could be really subtle. They could do something nice for you, like give you something, and then they'll be fucking up your ass to say, did you use it yet? Did you try it yet? Does it work? Do you like it? Like that kind of thing. Like, you know what? Fix it and forget it. If you do something for someone, just do it and let it go. Don't try to like, that's fucking manipulative. They're trying to get in there and trying to like, you know, whatever. It's an icky energetic energy. So I'll just leave it at that. And again, you may not be experiencing this, but you could be observing it. All right, moving right along. December 5th is the 6th day. You guys know I like my 3, 6s, and 9s. Those are very, very productive days if you're trying to build or manifest something. Or if you're observing, clocking, and tracking what's manifesting, look at your 3, 6, 9 days. So the 5th, Tuesday, the moon is still in Virgo. It makes a trine to Uranus. Very productive. I like it. Another good day to get things done. The moon actually between Monday and Tuesday will make its last quarter square, which you can feel a little bit of anxiety of like, oh, I gotta get on that. Oh, I gotta get that done. There can be a little bit of self-doubt, maybe some judgment in the mix with Virgo making a square to Sagittarius sun, but it seems like an urgency, like whatever it is that you've been working on all month, or whatever peaked at the full moon, whatever information you got, it's like, all right, it's time. The energy is saying, okay, you got to act on what you know. You got to, whatever. If you've been on a break, it's time to jump back in, or, make the adjustments that you need to make, because we feel the change coming. And Virgo, let's see. The moon is conjunct Juno on that day. We could be analyzing our partnerships and taking stock of where things are at, or just how we feel about partnerships, marriages in general. And so Juno is the asteroid. Juno is the wife of Jupiter. She had a lot of issues with him. He had babies with everybody, but she was the wife. But Virgo, especially the stars in that section of Virgo, I think that tends to be associated with the woman scorned. So we may see a bit of a battle going on with certain things, perhaps with marriage, partnerships, or I don't know, rules and regulations regarding marriage, because Virgo. But Virgo, it tends to be very perfectionistic, so it could be as a collective, we have really high standards about what our ideal partnership and quote marriage. It doesn't have to be like literal legal marriage, but sort of perfectionistic, they always say, like, be the partner that your perfect partner would be looking for, right? We can't have these high standards when we're not applying those standards to ourselves. And we may be looking at our belief systems, also our ideologies, maybe in terms of religion. If people are religious, they may be maybe downgrading people a little bit. Like I said, I don't know, Virgo has a lot of judgment to it. It's kind of a sign that looks down their nose on other people, but they don't clean up their own stinky shit. That's shadow Virgo. We're not going to go there. But yes, changing perspectives and values on partnership in general. The other thing, I don't want to get into the asteroids, but I will just mention Orcus and Aphetus, if you remember that I've talked about them. Orcus is the judge, the underworld judge, the judge of the dead, and he's about oath breaking. He judges those who break their oaths. And Aphetus is criminality and networks and guilty by association, which brings us to RICO. And so there is a lot coming up by the end of this week. I think when the sun gets to about 17, 18 degrees of Sagittarius, it will square Orcus and Aphetus in Virgo and Juno. Well, if we want to spill that tea, that could be, because guilty by association, and maybe you're married, like married to the mob, and people coming out and telling their truth, like, you didn't know that you don't. I was looking at this the other day. This is not the show to do this, but God, I will do a show on this because there are things I have to say about this. But with the moon conjunct Juno in Virgo, something happens on the 5th, Tuesday, probably between the 4th and the 5th, where somebody's spouse is talking and probably testifying regarding her criminal husband and his associates and syndicates, because Aphetus, that's the syndicates and the criminals and all of that that's going on right now. But Juno in there with Orcus breaking oaths. So there's the oaths that the criminals pledge to one another to keep their secrets. But then there's also the oaths that people have taken to uphold the law. Anyway, somebody is betraying, somebody is snitching, and NDAs do not cover criminal activity. That's all I'm going to say right there. So by the time the sun is square to Juno and Aphetus and Orcus, that will be by Sunday. Yep, mark your calendar. Ooh, Chad. I gotta make some videos. Anyway, all right. So that's Tuesday. What else is good? What else is good on Tuesday? The 5th. Well, Venus is gonna move into Scorpio. That's sexy. Yeah. Hell yeah. So, maybe Venus in Libra has been sort of like on her best behavior, not wanting to rock the boat, but in Scorpio, it's like she wants deep. She's not on the surface, superficial BS. She's also spying and investigating. She's hiring a private detective now. And she's doing the background check on her lover because there's something she don't trust. That goes along with this moon in Virgo. Yeah, okay, now I see it. Why do I have to go back? Rewind. So on the 4th, the moon is in Virgo, conjuncts Lilith. And I won't go into the stars, but like a lot of the stars in Virgo have to do with because they're in Ursa Major, is very mistrustful. It very much, it just screams scorned woman energy through most of the sign of Virgo. So there's that. And now Venus is going into Scorpio, slipping under cover. Ooh, I'm hearing that song. She knows. She knows. She knows. She knows. Who fucking sung that? I love it. And she knows, and I know she knows. Yeah, it's about him cheating, and like he knows that she knows. Zerda. All right, so this could be coming up from the past, or we could be hearing about this currently, or we could be living this. Not me. I'm a lone wolf. I don't need nobody. Ah, oh, that's funny. All right, so no, I'm just sitting here with my popcorn. Oh, I'm sitting here with my popcorn, knowing who this is about. It sucks when you have a photographic memory and you remember everybody's chart pretty much that you've looked at that's connected to your personal life. And, like, you randomly see a chart and you're like, oh shit, I'll know who's taking one. Up the bum hole. All right. All right, I'm not saying anything. Oh, well, God, I just can't like not think about the asteroids. Mercury is conjunct Ixion, and Ixion is about taking what doesn't belong to you. So that has to do with marital infidelity and not how would you say it? Not being grateful to your host, like somebody who has done something for you, has promoted you, has supported you, and then that's like your friend that you let stay at your house because they're going through hard times, and next thing you know, like they're trying to screw your boyfriend or girlfriend. That's the story of Ixion. So Ixion was put on the wheel of Tartarus as his karma. So Tartarus, we look at like the wheel of Tartarus as really the wheel of Tartarus is the zodiac wheel, but it's the wheel of karma, of cause and effect. Anyway, he did murder somebody, Ixion did. So it is also an asteroid that is associated with like murder. Murder and love triangles. Yikes. So yeah, the fourth and the fifth look a little weird. I mean, for some people. But it's actually a very good productive energy. So like for those of us who don't have any drama in our lives and we're just boring ass vanilla people, we are probably feeling pretty inspired and maybe looking at some of our obstacles in our life and wanting to refine our commitments and take action on things, and feeling like maybe we want to watch our finances a little bit more closely, our investments. We want to know what's going on with at the upper echelons with the people in power, because that will give us an indication, I think, of where things are going. And with Venus in Scorpio, there will be more focus on Venus Scorpio themes are like our shared finances, our debts, and legacies, inheritances. So it's more of, it's other people's money, also benefits that come from like insurance policies and public assistance and stuff goes under Scorpio too. So I wonder what's going on while Venus goes through Scorpio this week, and she starts today, like overnight. Um, let's keep an eye on that. She'll have an opposition to Jupiter later on in the week, but she's going to start out in Scorpio with a trine to Saturn, which says we got to review the finances. We've got to look at where we can save money. We've got to there's, not much to go around. So if there's there's a whole pie, but there's twice as many people fighting over the pie, you got to show me why you deserve more of a slice of the pie. And just in general, looking into financial matters and things. If it's a financial sort of, the markets and stuff like that, it's issues with debt based and risk, speculation and risk and debt, really, because when you're buying stocks, you're basically buying debt, right? So keep an eye on that. So, all right. The 5th is the 6th day, like I said. What else is going on? Mercury is trine to Jupiter. We're going to be talking about laws and regulations. I definitely can see that. And government and the financial system all week long. It's going to be about that news. And the moon, Virgo. Okay, so moving on to Wednesday the 6th, we've got the moon starting out still in Virgo. It's going to oppose Neptune, so there's a little bit of fogginess. I would say that there is probably some things that we're not seeing, and control moves and governmental stuff that's going on with Virgo moon trine to Pluto. That's solidifying and consolidating its power and looking at probably things that are regulations that are changing. But, the average person is not really dealing with that. Probably we're looking at our, it could be diet, getting control over our diet and our health. Moon opposite to Neptune is looking at our delusionary belief systems, religion. There's stuff coming up about religious leaders, I do think. And the Pope was sick, right? The Pope can't poop. It's a problem. Yeah. So, and the moon then will go later on in the day, will go into Libra, and it'll square Mercury by the end of the day or overnight. Let's see. Yeah. Wednesday into Thursday, we're getting some kind of a news, some kind of decision. We may be making a decision, and we're having to balance between ourselves and other people, or where we're going professionally, and our integrity and our responsibility, and definitely taking a good hard look at our belief systems and our ideologies, and what the belief systems and ideologies are of the people who are in charge of making decisions, and decisions that are supposed to be fair and balanced for all of us. So, I mean, this can be management, This could be, political leaders, whatever it is. There's a real call to accountability and integrity and adherence to laws. And not just, the allegiance to who donates to your campaign or, you're making money off of. There's a lot going on. Jupiter in Taurus, Mercury trine Jupiter in Taurus. I mean, we're really thinking about how to maybe boss up and create more stability and resources in our life. And maybe learn more about the financial system so we can see what's coming. Something's coming. And pay attention to, if you're looking for information to fill in the blanks so that you can make a decision on the 6th, see where your head is at, what the information is that you get, decisions that are made, and going through the week, that would be a good day to gain some insight. And, Capricorn is a very practical sign. So Mercury in Capricorn, very practical. It has to make sense. It's also, Mercury in Capricorn has a tendency to game things out. Like, what's the next rational step that I need to take or that could be coming? But remember, we are in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. So I think this is about gathering information and making practical decisions. And they will be, of course, for everyone along the lines of their own belief system. But with Mercury in retrograde, we may come up with information that makes us rethink things. That's why it's not a great time to make a big decision. It's more of a good time to just investigate, gather your information. So Mercury trine to Jupiter, good. Later on in the week, we have Venus opposite to Jupiter. So we may be hearing the rumbles of something that's coming down the pike. The 6th will give you an idea of what that might be. And don't forget, the moon will square Mercury. So there will be something said, announced, realized on that day. I think that will be very important. So, and it will have something to do with whatever is going down on the 9th, which is Saturday, because the moon will be sextile to Mercury and opposite Jupiter and conjunct to Venus. There's something about the money, the finances, the debt, in the market and that kind of thing. And so watch and pay attention. Okay, let's go back. So the 7th, Thursday the 7th, is an 8-day. 8 usually has to do with business and finance. Next year is an 8-year. This year is a 7-year. Spiritual testing. And then 2024 will be an 8. So look at the 8 days to give you an idea of what we could be facing in 2024. All right, so December 7th, Thursday, the moon is in Libra. It will oppose Chiron. It will sextile Mars and actually, so it'll sextile Mars, and then it will oppose Chiron and sextile the Sun. So there's some kind of action being taken here, and being, asserting one's position. And after having made a decision with the moon square to Mercury, so it's like announcing that you're going to act on the 6th, and then, or deciding. And then on the 7th, taking that action with the moon sextile to Mars. And then it will sextile the Sun and oppose Chiron. So there's a winner and a loser. The moon opposite Chiron is somebody feeling slighted, because Chiron in Aries is sort of like, the offense is deep, because it offends who you are on a personal level. It's about the identity, Aries. And so, everything is very personal. It's whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying, it hurts me because it offends, you don't agree with my belief system, or who, it's about who I am. You're dissing who I am, or you're not letting me be me. It's not fair. So moon in Libra, something doesn't feel fair to the individual, but it is supporting the Sun in Sagittarius, which is, well, the Sun can be, the father, the authority figure, the leader. In this case, it could be that in itself, but Sun in Sag, we are kind of looking at things that are ideology and belief based. So this could have to do with religions, perhaps, and ideologies. Anyway, what else do we have going on? Mercury is so slow. It's at 6 degrees of Capricorn. It makes that trine to Jupiter, and that's again a Sagittarius indicator. So money, banking, finance, and perhaps religion, ideologies. So I don't know. Could there be some sort of scandal with religious leaders and money? Perhaps. I keep going back to Jupiter, because by the end of the year, everything I'm seeing right now revolves around Jupiter going direct at the end of the year and Mercury going direct. And they are intertwined, and they are making, Mercury is making aspects to Jupiter in its shadow phase, and then in its retrograde. It's stationary, retrograde. So we are seeing quite a few aspects happening with Jupiter. And Jupiter is on a star called Metalla, which is in Triangulum, which is known as a star being associated with architects and Freemasons. So I'll extend that Freemason reference association to fraternal organizations and secret societies and networks of power. So see if there's anything that comes up on that day. I don't know. I'm just wondering. All right. So Mars on the 7th, we are talking about, you know, probably because I see all of the war and escalation it comes down to money, the banking system, and the switchover, and the BRICS nations, and then the switchover from our old system to the new digital system, and compliance with banks, central banks. Look for some kind of news with this. I mean, it could be a bank head stepping down, or I don't know. Let's see what goes on with that, because that looks a little bit interesting. On the 7th, I would say, but on a personal level, we're definitely asserting ourselves and standing behind our beliefs and looking at our integrity, and the commitment, really, and where our existing relationships are, and where we want them to go, or our beliefs around what our relationships should be like. So then on Friday the 8th, we have the moon conjunct the south node. Now, we just had Venus conjunct the south node this whole past week. We had Sandra Day O'Connor pass. So remember, in past shows I did talk about, well, when Mars was on the south node, that was not good for men. And we saw, I said a man leaving, let's say, or a loss of masculine power, or the masculine being attacked. And not to say that, it's not, a judgment in terms of anyone who was having difficulty at that time. It's not even about that. But we did see it being centered around a man, and we saw war also. And this time, Venus, and there is stuff going on with the banks. There have been branch closings and issues and things a lot of news came out with banks and banking, because our banking system is dead and is dying, and it's a corpse on life support, and they're trying to bring in a new system is what's going on. So this whole past week with Venus on the south node, we're hearing bad news about financial stuff. Now there's going to be something that comes out on the 8th when the moon is there, and the moon has to do with the general populace and the mood, and also our intuition, and something that is being lost. And also in terms of females too, because the moon represents women. But there is something coming up on this day, on the 8th. And the 8th is the 9-day. So it could be that something happened with a female this past week, but we don't know about it yet. But we hear about it. Is it the funeral of Sandra Day O'Connor? We also had Rosalind Carter, her funeral this past week, and that was Venus on the south node. So what comes up on Friday? You see how these things are all connected. Venus, females, banking, loss, problems. That's the south node conjunction there. The moon is the population, the public. So there is something happening here. And because the moon moves fast, it'll be on this day basically just over the course of the day. And I wonder if we might actually see some bank runs, perhaps. Now, when I say that, don't freak out, because it doesn't mean they're all running out of money, but the cash money supply is probably going, it's stressed. There's problems. So they would have a problem if a lot of people came to the bank to try to take their money out because the cash is not there. They don't keep that much cash. So it's interesting. We could maybe see that where because Venus is opposite Jupiter. She's at 4 degrees, he's at 6 degrees, and Venus, again, money, and in Scorpio it's other people's money. And over the next, so December 8th into the 9th, we're going to see people, the moon, moving towards their money, their physical money. That's Venus. But in Scorpio, it's being held by someone else. And Jupiter, in the sign that Venus rules, wants it back where it belongs. Interesting. The last show that I did, I think I mentioned I saw like money coming out, draining with Venus on the south node. Money, if we look at it specifically, but Venus is also, that's also our kind of our, our energy too on the south node, and being taken from us, but also money flowing from one place or one form to another. That's what I was seeing with that aspect. But also being blindsided because the moon is in conjunct, or the node of the south node of the moon is where the loss is. Okay, the south node is loss. And with Venus being there and then in conjunct to Neptune, we don't see it. The things are happening, but we don't see them yet. We may see it on the 8th. I feel like because the moon in Libra, that is the public, opinion, the mood, and I don't know, in conjunct to Neptune, perhaps it is exposing some stuff. But that's the 8th, and that's a 9-day. Don't forget. 9s end things. What else is going on here? Mercury is so slow right here. It's going so slow. So from the 6th to the 7th, 8th, 9th, it stays pretty much at exactly with that trine with Jupiter. And Jupiter is in reverse. Jupiter is also retrograde. So Jupiter is abundance in the sign of, the Venusian sign of money, but it's physical assets, physical money, commodities, right? Tangible goods. Jupiter, which is abundance and expansion, is sort of rolling back because it's going in retrograde, right? And redoing the laws and everything regarding our system. But into the 9th, 8th into the 9th, because it's really on the 9th. Whatever's going on the 8th, you will know by the news you're getting all week what's going to happen by December 9th. So something is changing. So on the 9th, we have the moon in Scorpio. It will conjunct Venus, sextile to Mercury. I mean, I would expect that there's some kind of and opposing Jupiter. Maybe the announcement of the intention to audit to review certain governmental procedures and laws regarding money, debt, the exchange of money, and well, the moon will also trine to Saturn. It's definitely about government. I mean, did they just pass like, or did they not? Did they pass an extension on the budget? I mean, that's what this really kind of looks like. I don't know. Let me see some asteroids. Now it's time to get into asteroids, but let's end up with the week. Okay, so that's Saturday. And then Sunday, the moon is in Scorpio and it opposes Uranus. Big change, sudden, explosive, sort of revealing. The moon in Scorpio is definitely digging up some secrets, and they may be shocking, and we can gain a bit of insight. I mean, like, that weekend really looks like a good weekend to do your due diligence and to research and investigate what is going on with the banking system, with the financial system, and the changes that are coming. And you will get some insight this week. I don't think there's a huge learning curve with this, because I think if you really look, you're going to find the information that you need to make a decision that is best for you. That's just the aspects that are happening. I see with Mercury trine to Jupiter. Jupiter rules higher learning and, expanding your knowledge and getting a higher perspective on Taurus things, which is like, what are the safe havens? What are the stores of value? And Venus opposing Jupiter, I think if you do some research, you could really come up with some ways that you can offset what's coming. I think that's what this is about. And the moon opposite to Uranus. Uranus in Taurus, which is also retrograde, by the way, is reviewing digital currency and the value of cryptocurrency. And it's not just about how much the price that's tied to that particular token. It's the whole system, it's the whole blockchain, and it is what's causing some issues right now in the banking system, because we have the new system that we're trying to switch over to, which is blockchain, right? So the old system, which was Swift, it's not Swift anymore. I mean, it's not fast. It's antiquated. So, but that's what countries are using basically, or people even, and businesses, when you want to exchange currency outside of your own country. So it has everything to do with how we are all connected and tied together globally and able to exchange units of currency, which are becoming more light. Okay, so I mean, you can take that many different ways, but my opinion, definitely not not expert, but my opinion, and in layman's terms, it is probably, I'm not probably, but the way I see it, it's going to be physical and digital, but it's already digital. What happens when you go and you pay with a credit card? You never exchange any cash, but it's about what they do behind the scenes, and that system is changing. So, it has everything also to do with the markets, the bond market. Um, yeah, that's something you probably want to look at too. And and what's going on with defaults and debts and currencies and bricks and all of that stuff. So, anyway, the average person doesn't have to deal with that, but it's where it has to be dealt with in the like upper echelons, but it will affect us down here. But if we know what's coming, we can prepare for it, right? So I think there is something big going down next week when it comes to um finances and relationships. We're talking a lot about money, but this is going to affect relationships too. Maybe because there's a difference in belief system. We have to work out like discerning, getting clear on our own belief systems, right? Our own ideologies, and the aspect from Mercury to Jupiter would show us that. And then Venus coming in Scorpio is kind of getting a deep sense of where things are going, with the people around us. And trust issues will come up with Venus in Scorpio, a lot of jealousy. So those are things to watch out for. So, this is the waning moon right here. By that weekend, like the week after next, we'll be having a new moon. This is just stuff that we're dealing with still from the past and releasing. So, things could be coming up to trigger people during that time, having to do with money and finances and being able to trust people enough to sort of, merge and join forces. Because if I'm looking at that Mercury in Capricorn, if you think of this as a business venture, like two people going into partnership, it's like, what is each person bringing to the table? And are they disclosing everything? This is wanting to bring it all out onto the table. Anyway, Moon in Scorpio on the weekend. Sounds like some good, juicy drama and gossip. And I'm really looking forward to getting some of my celebrity videos done where I pick apart their charts for entertainment purposes only, and everything is alleged and everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Okay, wow. I only went an hour and a half today. Aren't you proud of me? I'm getting so much better. It's because I left out most of the asteroids and stars stuff that I've been seeing. I left out a lot. So I really should probably do another video, another pop-up this week. But I'm also going to be working on a very special video. And so yeah, stay tuned for that. I'll be announcing that soon. All right, you guys know where to find me. Astrolunachick, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble. Please subscribe to the channel. I don't know if I'll be putting my celebrity videos on here or there. Probably here, but maybe some of the political stuff I'll put probably on Rumble. So subscribe to my Rumble channel. You can also look for my Substack newsletter and subscribe to that. Everything is backslash astrolunachick. So just dig around, you can find it. I'll try to put links in the description. What else? Yeah, usually I have a link in the description for my Gilded chat group. You can join that. That's sort of like a Discord group. Only I haven't seen the censorship on Gilded that people have gotten on Discord. So it's just a chat channel. There's not really a whole lot going on over there. But whenever I do a video, I usually post it over there. But people can ask questions and stuff. And also, yeah, if you're looking for a reading, if you want to book a reading, you can either email me at astrolunachick@gmail.com. You can DM me on social media, but make sure that you follow me because I don't always get those messages. Also, like somebody tried to get me on Signal, and I don't usually take Signal messages unless I know the person. And also, you can reach me on the Astro Lunatic hotline at 914-222-1231. You can call, you can leave a message, or you can text me and let me know exactly what you're looking for, and we can get you hooked up. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And to everyone who's listening live and in the chat, which is just Dave talking about kettle corn. Dave says no drama. Yeah, right. No vanilla here. More like sherbet. I like gelato. Gelato's pretty good. Ooh, I could go for like some salted caramel gelato, like a scoop of that, topped with a shot of espresso. Doesn't that sound good? Oh my God. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you during the week. Ciao for now.